welcome. My name is Bradley. I'm a college student living in Jacksonville, Florida, and this is my tiny house. I built this one in about a year and a half, pretty much all by myself with a little bit of help from friends. It's 22.5 feet long with a 5-foot porch. It's got vinyl siding on it. I'll show you around the outside and then we can take a tour on the inside. Because it's a tiny house, you know, you kind of want to go outside sometimes. And so I made this deck here out of just a bunch of pallets. And so whenever I move my house, I can just throw these back in the trash or use them for something else. But it's very temporary. And so my whole setup here is pretty much costs nothing. And it's a good space to come out and have a fire and hang out with friends when it's cold out. If we come to the front of the trailer, I'll show you my utility hookups. My house is 100% electric, so there's no propane. There's no sewage because I have a composting toilet, a Nature's Head. So all I need to run my house is an extension cord and a hose. Right now I have it plugged in with two 15-amp extension cords into this box here. I plug one into my water heater, which runs about 13 amps, and the other one runs everything else in my house. So I never trip breakers that way. And beneath there I have my water hookup, which just runs from the neighbor's house over here, and then I drain out into the ground and run it out to the woods. This right here is my copper piping for my AC unit, which is a mini split like you see on a lot of other tiny houses. And it's a brand called Mr. Cool, and they offer a DIY model, which comes with pre-charged copper lines, which really helped me keep the project completely non-contracted. It costs a little bit more money, but you know, it gives me a sense of pride that I did it all myself. I purchased my trailer used. It's a repurposed travel trailer, and it's a deck over, which means the starting height is right about here, as opposed to a drop axle trailer, which you could start at there. That doesn't give me as much head height on the inside of the house, but it does give me a little more storage underneath. So these car top carriers are good because they're really lightweight and they're cheap if you get them used on Craigslist. You can fit a lot of stuff in them, like camping chairs and other stuff that you don't want out in the weather. That works out well for me. So I think we spent enough time in the rain, so we can go inside and I'll give you a tour of the inside. Welcome to my tiny house. For starters, this is where I put my shoes. I've got myself some reclaimed lockers under here. This is my living room and my dining room and my kitchen all in one. This is my L-shaped couch that I custom made with the lockers and some storage behind there. One thing I tried to do was get a lot of windows around the walls and kind of open the area up. This is probably the best window right here in front of the dining area. This table folds down, and these chairs turn around in case I have more guests. I also have my TV over on this wall and my fireplace, which is electric. So it really is just a nice area to spend a lot of living time in. If I have, you know, more than 2 people here eating, I can just fold this down, turn these chairs around, and I have this movable island that I'll pull right here in the middle. It's also good to play games on the table, do other things like that. So I can sit here, or I can sit here. And another person could sit right here, or right here. So this is my small storage loft up here. It's my roommate Peanut, the snake. Peanut is a Brazilian rainbow boa. I got him about a year ago, and I got him specifically for the tiny house because he's just so low maintenance. Only feed him once every couple weeks. And that's just really good if I ever want to go out and, you know, travel for a week or something. Then I don't have to worry about a pet, like a dog or a cat, finding a babysitter and things like that. So he was really good. For simplicity purposes, I kept everything electric, including my 6-gallon tank water heater, my 2-burner, convection oven, fridge, everything's electric. Yeah, like I said, simplicity. The main reason is so that I don't have to refill my tanks every while. I can just plug in and be done with it. But I did keep into consideration if I ever want to convert. Like this island right here, this space against the wall would be good to plug in a propane range if I wanted to do that. But that's not on my list of things to do because I'm on grid with a good spot. My kitchen countertop here is about 8 feet long, and all of the cabinets were made myself. The doors I got out of a dumpster for free and just built the frame around it for super cheap with scraps I had left over from other parts of the house. The countertop is 3/4 inch pine plywood with some stain polyurethane on top. I've had it for about 4 months and it's holding up just fine. And that was only probably about $40 to build that countertop, which is a good deal. And there's my phone. Hey Rob, you're in the middle of an interview.
What?
Nothing. I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Sorry. So, to give myself some more counter space, I opted for a 2-burner that just plugs in because I don't need it most of the time. And I just keep it right here in my cabinet. And I also keep my microwave in here because I don't think it's too aesthetic. And I keep just some other, you know, skillets and things like that. But honestly, most of my kitchen space down here is unused, so lots more room for stuff and things. I have so much counter space here. I didn't need a lot of overhead cabinets, so I just opted for some open shelves to hang with my million mugs here, and a couple of things like sugar and that kind of thing up there. And of course my pots, which are aesthetic, and it saves a lot of space underneath. Here is my pantry and my glassware on this counter. What I did here was I used the 3.5 inch space between the wall right there to put my little shelves. And for one person, this is way more than enough storage. And I even have storage back here next to the fridge that I'm not even using, so down the road if I ever start to eat more, I got more space there. My fridge is a 10 cubic foot Magic Chef fridge. It's got more space than I need as well, with a nice sized freezer up top. And I am in college, so of course frozen pizzas are the main part of my diet. I put my convection oven underneath the fridge. That way it's away from the kitchen a little bit, and if I'm cooking 2 different things, I don't have all the heat in one spot. And I lifted the fridge just because I don't like to see them when they're standing alone, so I thought it was a little more aesthetic to have that like that, especially considering it's part of my living room, so that was important. One of my favorite parts about my kitchen is how you can see everything that you need all the time. So you don't have to go digging around through a lot of drawers. Like if I need the spatula while I'm cooking, I just turn around and there it is. And again, this is hidden in the 3.5 inches that in a standard house you wouldn't utilize. So it's really nice there. I've had friends come over, they'll be cooking and they'll say, all right, where's the pot? And I'll say, look up. They'll be like, okay, well where's the pizza cutter? Turn around. You know, I never even have to say like, go look in that cabinet. It's always just somewhere they can see it, which is really fun. So one of my favorite parts about my kitchen is my sink here because it's really big and it's not like one of those little bar sinks that you see where people have to wash and then dry somewhere on the counter. This thing, you just wash it here and dry it on this half. It's got this little grating that just keeps the dishes up. And then when it's time to put them away, I just stick them up there in this little hidden plate and bowl storage. So when you have a tiny space, it's fun to get creative and kind of put things in space that doesn't get used otherwise. I've seen a lot of tiny house videos, and if they don't show one thing, I'm wondering, well, where do you put the trash, or where do you do your laundry? So I'll try and show you as much as I can about what I do on the daily. So here's my trash right under my sink, and my laundry is over here in my closet, just in a couple baskets like this. So when I fill up one, I just move to the next. I have my hanging clothes right here, clothes in my drawers, and my 6-gallon water heater back there. So if I ever need more space in here, then I can always opt for a propane heater that I can put on the outside. But for now, I don't really need that much space. And in the back of my closet here is where my breaker box is and first aid kit and things like that. Here is my corner desk with a view of the woods right now. Overall, this is just where I study, or it's in the back of the house where I'll just throw all my mess when I don't want to deal with it otherwise. I keep all my books in the shelf and up top. I have surround sound 6 speakers throughout the house. Another thing is, if this house ever has 2 people living in it, I can wipe out these cabinets here and make this closed storage for a second person. A third idea is that this whole area back here could be converted into a second bedroom. This part of my desk folds down, which I did mainly just to give myself more walking room around here if I needed to, or working room. So that just goes down real easy like that, and this folds up. So if I'm not working at my desk and I want the space to feel a little bigger, I can do that. When I was designing my house, I didn't really see much reason for having a kitchen sink 3 feet away from the bathroom sink. So I just used my kitchen sink when I brush my teeth and things. So I open up this cabinet and I have my mirror and my toiletries, and so this is pretty much my vanity, which works out for me. I think if there was a girl living here, she'd probably want a little more room for makeup and all that kind of thing. But this house is for me, so this works. Welcome to my doorless bathroom. So I went with the curtain, which makes it just, easy and more open as well. So I have my Nature's Head composting toilet, about 2 feet of leg room, and then I have my shower, which is a 1-piece fiberglass shell shower that I actually got off the side of the road for free. So happy about that one. I also have some storage underneath the shower for cleaning supplies and things like that, because by raising the shower, I was able to keep the plumbing out of the wall. And so I have the plumbing running along behind this box to the back of the trailer, as well as the water from the sink. So that really made it so that I had peace of mind that my pipes weren't leaking inside the walls, considering this is the first bit of plumbing I've done. So that worked out well. Also have this fogged window here, which offers a nice view when you're doing your business. This cabinet is actually an antique bread box that I just flipped sideways, and it worked out well. It was an afterthought, and I kind of carried it into the house, holding up against different walls, trying to figure out where it would go. And that's where it landed, and it works out perfect. To get into my loft, I opted for a ladder rather than stairs because it only takes up half a square foot, and I thought it was really efficient. Not to mention I'm building this house for myself, and I'm pretty fit, so it doesn't really bother me much to climb up here for 3 seconds twice a day. So when I get up here, I have enough headroom, and I'm 5'10", so someone that's 6 foot could even sit up here. And then I have a standard full-size mattress back here, but you could put a queen or a king if you wanted to. So I do have a little bit more storage. Everything behind this wall is what's on top of the shower. So that's stuff that I throw that I don't get too often. And then I also have another set of lockers on this wall to use as a nightstand, but those are also empty because it's just still too much space for me. I do have a small TV up here, but I actually don't use it that much. I just use the one downstairs. For sleeping, it's easy. You just crawl up, close your eyes. When I was looking for a place to park, I did look at the city zoning laws, thinking about how my tiny house would fit in. I just classified it to myself as an RV or recreational vehicle. And for those, there has to be a house on the property, and it has to be parked next to or behind it. So I couldn't just go and buy an empty plot of land. For me, renting someone's yard was a great way to park my house without too much risk, because if there is any issue, I can always just hook it up to a hitch and move it somewhere else. The neighborhood that I chose, I avoided one with an HOA, and when I got here, I went and talked to all my immediate neighbors and introduced myself and told them what I was doing, because just one call to the city can have a lot of problems with it. So I've been here for 4 months without any issues, and if an issue does arise, I'm prepared for it. I'll just move and go somewhere else. It's also a good thing to look for places to park, even while you have a spot, just because you never know when you're gonna have to move. I started my search through Craigslist, didn't find many good options. Either they were too expensive or they were just far out of town. So then I moved to Facebook, which I got a lot of results from, just because people could tie your profile and your face and your personality to the house itself. And so I ended up going to this property because I knew the person and they didn't even know I had a tiny house until I posted on Facebook. I think I have the best parking spot in Jacksonville. I'm right on a creek in the middle of woods, basically with no neighbors. I moved into my house and I was super excited. Lived there for about 2 weeks. Thought I would be done working hard and thought I could enter a lazy stage of my life. And then a Category 5 hurricane came and proved to me that flood zones do exist and that I parked my house in one. I really had to learn a lot of lessons, avoiding stubbornness and listening to experts on the Weather Channel. But just in general, not turning my head to serious disasters that can happen. So I could have easily moved my trailer, and that's what everyone asked me. Why didn't you move it? Well, that's just because I just moved there, and I just wanted to think that nothing bad was going to happen. Then I had to move out for 3 weeks and deal with flood damage while I was in school, and I just learned a lot of lessons right there. Because my trailer's up 3 feet, 3.5 feet, I thought I was good. I thought, okay, 2 foot floodwater, that's fine. 3, that's okay. And throughout the night while I was staying here, it just kept going up and up and up. And it was a long night, but eventually it filled my house with about 1 inch of water, which was just enough to make me have to redo all the floors and insulation and everything. But it wasn't so bad that I had to dig into the walls, which was nice. Because my floors were flooded, and they were wood, I had to throw them out. And it just so happened that my neighbor also flooded, of course, and they gave me about 200 square feet of hardwood, solid wood flooring that I could use, about $800 worth. And so that was kind of a bright moment in those awful weeks. That was really nice, and the floors came out great, and I'm really appreciative of them.
Hey guys, Alexis and Christian here with Tiny House Expedition.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And click left or right for more tiny house stories and tours.